Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Today we're talking about how you can prepare courses to be scheduled. The first thing that we'll be showing in this is that there are 3 settings that control course availability that allow you to actually schedule these courses for self-paced training or for classes. Then we're going to talk about what publishing groups are, how to control course access for organizations, so which organization has access to which course. And then some troubleshooting items that we're going to talk about have to do with like working with multiple organizations and when you're getting things like access denied. Let's get started. To begin, we're going to look at the 3 things that we need in order to have a course available to be scheduled as a course assignment and or as a class. And these 2 control how it's available to be scheduled. So if you have available instructor-led checked, it will be available to be chosen to schedule classes. If you have available self-paced checked, it'll be available when you're going to set up a course assignment. So you can have either or both checked. And if you actually uncheck both of them, they do a thing with the course that allows it to show as coming soon. So if you have a course catalog going on, you can uncheck both of them because the course is not published yet, and it will show as coming soon on a course catalog or in a subscription as well. Let's go ahead and save our course. Right now you can see that I have a Find Classes, but I don't have a Create Class link. I don't have a Create Course Assignment link either. And I've also got this red message here that this course must be added to a publishing group to be available for use. Publishing groups, if a publishing group isn't added, then it's not available to schedule as instructor-led or as self-paced. And this can be good because it gives you a way to work on your course without anybody else being able to see it and put it into any kind of training situation. Once it is scheduled for a course assignment or it is scheduled for training in a class with an enrollment added to it, because those become billable items, we have locked down fields. So you want to be able to keep working on your course. You may not want to add a publishing group right away. So what do publishing groups do? Let's go in here and edit the course and go to not activities, availability. It's the other A word. And you can see right down here, I have a link to add publishing groups. So what do publishing groups do? They manage availability of courses to organizations. And if you're an organization that's creating and using your own courses and not selling courses to anyone else, then all you have to do is select the publishing group with your org name, which will probably be the only one available to you, and move on. So I come in here, I actually have more than one. I'm going to use it as internal and say okay, and it's added on there. Some organizations actually create courses and sell them to other organizations. This allows, having publishing groups, allows them to set up publishing groups with content and assign the organization to the content that they want to have available to them. So it's a way for them to manage who has access to their own courses. Let's click on Save now. Oh, I didn't change my basic information. I still don't have my Create Class or Create Course Assignment because I need to add both of these. And now with the publishing group and with my training specified, I now have the Create Class and the Create Course Assignment. So what are publishing groups? Publishing groups are a way to control who has access or which organizations have access to schedule a course for training. Until a course has been added to a publishing group, you cannot use it to be scheduled. You cannot schedule a class from it. You cannot assign a course assignment from it. And this applies to your own organization as well as any organizations within your hierarchy, or if you're selling the content, that also applies to outside organizations. I have a course here and I have created it, I have saved it. You can see here in my warning in red here says this course must be added to a publishing group to be available for use. If in fact I copy this and try to create a class based on this course and find it, here's my first one, and it will give me an access denied message. So that is one way you can get access denied, is if your course has not been added to a publishing group yet. Let's go back to our slides. So who actually uses publishing groups? Some of our organizations will never use a publishing group ever because they're not creating courses. But the organizations that are using publishing groups are the ones that create their own content, that is courses within the TMS, and that can either be for their own organization, in which case they may only ever need to have one publishing group for all your courses. So you just need to set the publishing group and on you go. You don't have to think about it again. If you're creating content to sell, or if you have multiple organizations in your hierarchy, like some of them are your customers, you're probably going to need to have multiple publishing groups set up. The organizations not using publishing groups are the people that are buying content. So some organizations have a split use. They're creating their own courses and they're also buying content like Microsoft Official Curriculum, mock courses, or EC Council courses, or CompTIA courses. On those courses where they're buying the content, the publishing group is set by the content provider and they have no need to deal with it or worry about it at all. Let's talk about how publishing groups actually control things. I'm not saying they're controlling, but they do control things. In terms of organization access, once an organization is given access through a publishing group, if it is a parent organization, all the suborgs in that organization's hierarchy automatically receive access. If ABC Training Company is a parent of all of these different organizations, if I add ABC Training as a published organization on a publishing group, all of the other organizations under it will also receive access. But if I, for instance, give access only to Child Org 1, neither the parent nor the sibling organization will have access. Only Child Org 1 would have access to that published content. Another more control from the publishing groups, the way that publishing groups, that you can add organizations and you can add courses, and they can be added into multiple publishing groups. I can have my ABC company added as an organization for 10 different publishing groups, or I can also have a course added into 10 different publishing groups. But a course, an organization's access can only be set up through one publishing group. So for instance, right here, I have publishing group 1, it has course 1, and that's available to ABC company. I can add that same course 1 to publishing group 3. And that's fine, it'll let me do this. But if I attempt to add ABC company, I cannot have course 1 in this publishing group. It's got to be one or the other. And the reason for this is that we're going to an automated billing system. And within that billing, we're going to connect pricing or discounts and different billing items to publishing groups specifically. So we can't have publishing groups grant access to the same course to the organization through multiple publishing groups. So for instance, I have the Child Org 1 here, and this is a publishing group, and in Child Org 1, they are the only published organization. That's the only organization that has rights to schedule this training, and they only have one course. They have this Child 1 course. I also have a Child 2 publishing group set up, and it is only published to Child 2, and it only has one course in it, Child 2 course. I can go over to my Child 1 publishing group, and I can add that Child 2 course. So now it's available, and it lets me do it, and I'll even save it, and it allows me to save. So now through this publishing group, Child Org 1 has access to both courses, 1 and 2, And through this other organization, publishing group, Child.org2 has access to the Child2 course. Now, if I try to add the Child2 organization on the published orgs where it gives availability to content, it's going to deny me access because it already has access to that course from the publishing group Lab Hosting ABC Child 2. So that is how that allows and denies access. Our TMS, it tries to be really helpful and it tries to be really smart. And we automatically add certain things in for you all the time. So if you start from a user profile to create a course assignment, it's automatically going to add that user in as the student because you just came from their profile. In the same way, we automatically add an organization when you create a course or you create a class or you create users and pretty much anything else you create, but not everything. And where is it getting that organization from? Well, why do I get the access denied error? When you're creating a class and you manage multiple organizations, the organization your user account is set up to is the one that will be applied to the class you're creating. I'm in here as Manager Jane today, and Manager Jane has her basic information set up, she has roles, and she has organization management. So this organization management defines what organization she's allowed to take action in. But if you come right back up here, we have the organization Career Rocket set up as her home organization. And this is where it's pulling the organization from when I create any item as Manager Jane. We already saw that me as Manager Jane is set up in Career Rocket. Now you can see here we have, by default, we give you this truncated view of creating a class, and we'll get into that a little more in a moment. So if I come in here and I choose an ABC course, which we know that Career Rocket doesn't have access to, I'm going to get access denied, but I know I have access to that course. So I might be confused or frustrated. If I come over here to show advanced settings, I now see all the fields available and tabs that are available to use to schedule a class. And right here, it shows my organization. And just like on my user profile, my organization is Career Rocket. So I really need to change that over to ABC Training Company Child 1 if I want to use that Child 1 course. So you may need to come in and change the organization when you're creating a class. Let's go out and get that course and click OK. Now it lets me do it. Another thing you may need to do is if you're always scheduling for one particular organization or you're always creating entities, go into your user profile and edit it and change it to that specific organization. Another thing you can do is, I know when we changed over to this view where fewer fields were showing, I always was scheduling classes for my own organization and they weren't supposed to be for my own organization. But you can change this so that instead of having the shorter view and having to go to advanced settings, you can have it automatically show all the fields. And being able to see organization there might be what prompts you to be able to go, oh, hey, I need to change that organization to schedule this class. And you can control that from your organization profile. When you go into edit your organization profile, you go to the Preferences tab, and we're going to skip over some sections here to get down to the class settings. And down here on the base class settings, it has Use Basic Class Editor, and it's enabled by default. If you disable that, you're not going to have to, you're always going to see all the fields. But remember, that doesn't just disable it for you, it disables it for everybody in that organization. So you may need to think that one through. Not everybody may want it. So if you are getting access denied and it's based on your organization, on either your user account or not being able to see the organization on the class, you can change your user account, you could change your organization setting, or you can just always go to advanced settings and change that organization so that you can use it. With course assignments, you can also get an access denied. And this happens when remember I said that most all the time, pretty much everywhere when you create something, it goes to your organization that's set on your user account. When you're creating course assignments, it actually is looking at the user's organization that's set up for them. So this is a random student, and all they have is the basic user role, the student role, and they belong to ABC organization 2. So if I go over here and I create a course assignment, it's automatically going to drop Bob in there. And if I go to choose a course for Bob, and I choose a course that I know isn't available to ABC 2, I'm going to get access denied. I don't have access to this course. Actually, I have access to this course, but I cannot assign it to Bob because Bob doesn't belong to the right organization to have that course. So if I come back in and I give him 2, the course 2, he can have that one. So either you need to move Bob to a different organization, or you need to adjust your publishing groups so that you can give access to that course to people in that organization. Another problem that we get reported often is that the course that they want isn't showing. This is just because the organization that the person manages doesn't have access to that publishing group. I'm going to become a different operation manager. I have been acting as Manager Dane, and Manager Dane has organization management over ABC Training Company and Career Rocket, and those all have child organizations under them. If I come in here as Lori Ops, she's an operation manager. She can create courses, but she only has access to that Child 2 organization. So let's impersonate her, and let's go and create a class. Let me refresh this. So Lori's the one working. If I go out and choose an ABC course that she doesn't have access to, like I can see Child 2 course. I can also see the ABC Training Parent course, which is in another publishing group that's added as a parent and all the children get, but I don't get the Child 1 course. And she may know that Child 1 course is out there, but she cannot see it. And that is because that Child 1 course is not something that she has access to. Child 1 is only available to Child 1. So you may be wondering how you can figure out which publishing groups each course is in. You can do that from the publishing group, or you can do that from Find Courses. From Find Courses, I can go in and I can add a has publishing group, and I can see any of the courses that I have access to that are in a publishing group. I can also see the ones that don't have a publishing group assigned. So that can help me find things that I need to set up in a publishing group. I can also either choose which publishing group I want, or I can add a group name in. Choose. Look at that, I have stuff. And I can input the publishing group I want to look for, and I can work with all the courses that are in it from here too, and see them displayed easily.
Thank you for joining us for the webinar, and we hope to see you again at another one soon.